All right, boys and girls. We got a few items on here today. We'll get going. Got some fun stuff. Welcome to August 14, 2024 gathering of the City of Lawrence Board of Parks and Recreation. Little trivia. 70 years ago today, the wiffle ball gets patented. There you go. Being a park thing, thought I'd throw that at you.
My day is complete.
There you go. Real quick, Eric and I, and then today, the complete board, I want to give a shout out to Mayor Whitfield and her staff, administration, Zach, Leandre, talking about her vision for the city, her goals as mayor for the Parks Department, and know how I felt. You've heard me say this before. You can't police yourself out of a situation, and people demand their parks, quality of life. So I want to give a shout out to her and her staff for sharing where they'd like to go, not in 4 years, but over a 18-month period. So everything from what she would like to see added to our system to ways of funding. So very impressed. I want to give her a high five for that. Real quick, I would entertain a motion, the acceptance of minutes from way back on July the 10th. It seems like a lifetime ago. If there are any additions, subtractions, deletions, if not, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor of accepting?
Aye.
All right, it carries. Real quick, Eric would probably be covering these items, everything from Fall Creek Trail, not the, I'll call it the Lee Road Trail. He'll get into that, but a couple of things. Eric, we have completed, installed, and we are operating the community park playground now, correct?
Yeah, we lack a load of mulch between the two units, but it is covered and played on right now.
Okay, that looks very nice. That's our first one we've had in a while, isn't it? New playground equipment.
Alexander Park.
Okay, got it. Yep. Good to hear about that. Couple things, and we got new vehicles, 2 new trucks into the circulation.
Yes.
That's good. My cross-country team, LN, we were out running Saturday back at the soccer area. Our pain in the buttocks building, the old scoring, that building, it's got windows out again. We need an accident or something.
Well, we don't, yeah, we need to.
Sarcasm.
So, yeah.
It's an eyesore. And we can't keep throwing good money after bad money, or bad money after good.
Jeff,
Sir,
say that again, what you were talking about.
the scoring tower that's out there, that brick building with the flat top on it, that's the one we had fixed. I think Reese or somebody went out there and fixed the windows on it, and the windows are out again, and the windows that are out completely were boarded it up. What purpose does it serve?
Doesn't. So.
It's really an eyesore. And I see no reason for us to continue, but we're holding events and the like. It just it gives me a headache, amongst other things. So that's me being a pain in the butt there real quick. Couple things out at Lee Road. Do we see when in the future we might be addressing the buildings that remained out there? I saw we got all the fencing out. That's all been moved, but
Yeah, it's either a midsummer program or a winter program. It'll probably be more of a winter program.
okay, that's kind of what I thought.
Just when it's frozen, we can get out there and have a lot of activity going on around it.
Okay. This is from last month. Casper, if you'd come to the podium there, please, put you on the spot. This board and had a nice article trying to reclaim, that's what I'll call it, and get some ownership to our skate park. And you two can share where are we at with our reclamation of our skate park.
I'll let Casper.
Yes.
Lead it.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, we've started with small repairs. Paul Nanny has fixed a couple of the holes in the bowl already. We've patched the wall ride in preparation for paint. We've already gathered all of the artists together. Eric's put in the order for the rolled paint, and then the order for the spray paint should be soon. And then we we're just getting together to plan a day to do the power washing on the flat, and the week prior to September 8th, we'll be rolling the paint.
Okay, real quick, Eric, you explained it to me. What's the process? We'll power wash and then put a, lack of a word, a primer?
Yeah, over those areas that are going to be treated, they're going to be treated, so.
And September 8th is when the work,
September 8th is like the bigger paint day
Okay.
that we'd like to do.
no rain, people.
Please. The week up to it, we'll be rolling the primer, and then the power washing is for any of the areas that won't get any primer on it. That way it's a fresh start on everything.
Good. Very happy to see that. We've kicked this ideal around, I know, a good 5, 6, 7 years. I was glad to see, be it the graffiti art community, and it's an art form, and the skateboard folks taking ownership. It's one thing to get some old guy like me saying, we got to get, but the ownership and people that know, I'm very pleased and happy the direction it's going. So back out at you. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Miss Liz, will you step up here? About a month or so ago, Ms. Mazur, we're starting to address our chemical spraying of some of our facilities, but in particular the Bark Park. And I liked our it's kind of like a front porch gathering here. Liz and I were sitting literally outside front here of the city building waiting to go in to meet. And neighbors and users of the Bark Park came up and expressed to me their concerns of the use of the chemical spraying of the Bark Park. And we embraced, I kind of said, this is what we're going to do moving forward. I'll just be honest with you. And Eric will explain the process. But we are getting out of the, for lack of a term, the use of Roundup type chemical spraying agents, especially at our Bark Park, which as compared to our other parks, depending on which parks, our athletic facilities are a little different. Our trail walking, our Bark Park are kind of in the same category, is to get out of the Roundup type of spray for those parks and go into a more holistic form of spraying. So Liz, if you could share what that could look like.
Well, for example, if the paved trail that's next to Lee Road that goes through the woods, there are some invasives there. There is some Canada thistle, there's some teasel, and that's the kind of thing, I hate to say it, that Canada thistle, I've talked to John Hazlett from the Soil and Water Conservation District, and he said the best way to get rid of it is to mow it before it blooms, and for a couple of years. It's not a one and done thing. But we mow a lot of stuff around here, so we just need to get in the habit of mowing the Canada thistle that grows along that trail. The teasel, I must admit, I gave a presentation today to a group, and they were asking about teasel, and I need to do more research on how you eradicate that. There are some patches there, and we can just cut them down for in the meanwhile, but we don't want teasel taking over. It's almost as bad as Canada thistle. So some of the practices are that we might have to get out there and perhaps round up some volunteers. Mr. Director Martin contacted me about a woman with an environmental group for kids, and so there's a possibility maybe we can start getting some kiddos out there doing some invasive snipping, just like kiddos were involved with painting the mural at Lee Road Park.
And we got some input from the folks that use the Bark Park. They're invested, and it's kind of like our skate park. Those folks that use the skate park, they're invested in I'll call it their facility. I don't take my cats to the Bark Park for obvious reasons. They would be weird, amongst other things. But the Bark Park folks, they want to be a part of maintaining that facility. Big time, and they expressed an interest. I'd really like to see the expansion of our Bark Park to the east side. That's for a different day. But Eric, our alternative to using Roundup type of spraying, what is the alternative we're going to use?
Well, we're just going to have to use a lot more weed eating especially around those sensitive areas that we talked about. Some areas that we can still utilize it, but with discretion, of course. And then anytime we do any broadleaf application, we talked about signage and making people aware of any broadleaf applications.
And we had a great gathering. It was non-confrontational. It was informational gathering. It was, it was a learning piece for my old bones. What are better ways to do it? We looked at other parks. That was one of the things, parks of comparable cities, comparable size and the like. And it's unhealthy. Forget the humans a minute, but, the dogs that are out there, it's unhealthy for them, if nothing else. We've screwed up in reverse with that dog park. It's probably outgrown, the numbers have outgrown our facility, which is a good problem to have. So going forward, on our trails and in our bark parks in particular, we are implementing some alternative means to control. But I think this is an opportunity to get true volunteerism and ownership of that facility.
And just on a final note, for example, instead of weed whacking, which we can be doing elsewhere, is if we plant natives along the fence along the road, that'll be attractive, and they don't need to be weed whacked, they don't need to be sprayed, and the dogs will water them for us.
Yes, they will. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Miss Jamie, can I pick on you real quick? Just give us some events coming up there, kiddo. I haven't picked on you yet, so I told Eric, make sure she's here so I can pick on her a little bit.
Hello, everybody. Let's see, upcoming events. Next Saturday, we have Community Safety Day, 59th and Lee Road at the Fire Station 40. Then in September, we're super busy. The 14th will be Barbecue and Blues, which is not going to be at Fort Harrison again. It won't be at Fort Harrison this year. This year, we'll have it at the Cultural Campus.
Right.
The 21st is the Loggers in Lawrence, which will also be at the
So we're going back-to-back weekend.
I'm not done. Then the 28th,
Wow,
we'll
gee,
be back at the Cultural Campus with Dia Latino Day Lawrence. And then October 5th, we are partnering with Purple Ribbon Solutions for their Community Day, and that will be at the Civic Plaza.
And one added in our meeting today, on August 27th, we are going to have a film at the Cultural Campus outside. I really think this is cool. It's the first movie my wife and I on our first date went to 20 years ago. Breakfast at Tiffany's
Breakfast at Tiffany.
is going to be outside at the Cultural Campus.
7 p.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So at 7 o'clock, we'll have food trucks, we'll have a popcorn vendor, because you can't have a movie without popcorn.
There you go.
And then, yes, that's it.
And the farmer's market goes through.
October the 3rd, every Thursday from 4 to 7.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, colleagues, anything from you? Questions, comments, concern?
Yeah, like the mural,
Yes.
that's nice.
Yes.
Thank Miss Liz and her volunteers.
Great.
And that kind of what got me moving on taking down the old building as the trail's being built there in the whole 9 yards. You see, it may be small, but it just, it kind of gives momentum of what can.
Yeah, can we get more? That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. And,
We got plenty of buildings that we could do something with.
yeah, I mean, because, something happens to you, you can always redo them. That's the nice thing about those.
Oh, I know.
Great. I'm all in favor of that. So, the dirt at Lee Road, is any of that good enough to, we got some drainage, where the water collects between, the part of the trail that's close to the mural.
Right.
Along that, the water stands. I don't know if you can do anything about that or
I
not.
want to be careful what we say that we'll take, or they'll leave it all for us.
Right.
So in the contract, we said they had to haul all dirt off.
Okay, yeah, I know a lot of it's not usable for
Yeah.
anything.
But as they get to the very end of it, maybe we could put our 2 cents in. It got a better sense in that than we do.
Thought about.
Yeah.
I thought about that, but then I was out there looking at it. Some of it just isn't real good.
That's how most of that dirt got out there.
Yeah, good point.
So it's not, I mean, the water does stand out there.
Yeah,
and it-
yeah.
Bugs and mosquitoes and everything.
And once they get that done, then hopefully that drainage will help move some of that water off there too. But we received that last year, probably a good time to hit it again this fall.
Okay.
See if we can get some growth on there. That might help.
Yeah, some of the areas along the trail there by the old cathedral field, pretty steep. We're gonna be able to.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what, I'd have to look at the renderings to see if there's any blocky, if they're gonna block that, or if they're gonna have some sort of a support wall.
Yeah, just don't want erosion to erode the trail.
Yeah,
away.
yeah. Well, and it's too steep to mow also, so
Yeah.
we'd have to turn it into something that, ground ivy or something, but we'll look at that to make sure that we're not, we don't have any extra maintenance there.
Good. Okay, good.
Anything else? Mr. Martin, you got anything fun for us? Budget? It's that time of the year.
We had our meeting today with the controller and some council members, and we're leaving packets in the council members that weren't at the meeting today of our budget and some explanation. First, I wanted to introduce Roman Coffer. Roman is our new recreation coordinator, so we'll see him a lot more. His main objective now is to help Jamie through the programming part of it, but
And we got him from and I was going to compliment, Riverside Park has made a renaissance over the last 5 or so years. So we got him stolen from Indianapolis. And if you haven't been out towards Riverside Park, it's especially what's coming on eventually. So glad to have you on board, young man. Thank you.
so yes, budget, we did have a meeting today, and I'm not sure of the timeline yet, but it looks a lot like years past, September, with a passage at the end of October, and our ask was substantial this year. So we'll see how it pans out.
Okay.
We included a lot of our programming, our July 4th programming, the programming into the budget, so.
Right.
And increased salaries and increased the full-time staff to help with the maintenance division also.
We have 2 positions.
We have 2 positions.
Okay, got it. I said, remember, the last couple of years, we had at Civic Plaza and the cultural campus, that's adding on. And, Lee Road is a functioning park again, and then, of course, we'll be adding on, I call it the Lee Road Trail, then within 24, 36 months, the Fall Creek Trail, at least the portion that stays in Lawrence. Go ahead, Tom.
Is that 2 positions on top and replace the retiring?
No, it's just 2, so it'd
be
be
one,
one,
really?
1 plus, yes,
Okay.
And how many full-time do we have now, Eric?
4 of us.
Okay. Does that include Ron Sandlin?
No, Ron's not full-time.
So 4.5 is basically what we have.
We're going to keep Ron on as long as we can.
Right. Got it. Anything else exciting?
So trails, Jeff mentioned the trails. Calumet's probably 60% done. You've got an action here later on to approve the change order, so that'll change things. But through the month of July, they totaled $322,000 in construction costs. So besides paving, that's a majority of it because all the dirt work and man hours that went into that. So
And all the utilities, everything's been relocated?
everything's, yeah,
Okay, so we're building.
yeah.
Okay.
We have a meeting tomorrow about the Lee Road or the Fall Creek extension. We should be getting 30% design. We've got all of our environmental items in, so that determines a lot of the path of the project. We did widen it in a few areas using majority of the easement, and then we also have discussion on how to get up and down the steep section at Lee Road from the VFW. Whether those are switchbacks or
Okay.
into, so they're doing some design work there to determine how we're going to cost effectively do that, whether we have to go back further into the park, and
What time is that, Eric?
it's a 10 o'clock
We're at,
meeting.
oh,
No,
okay. Let me come over and sit in your lap and watch it.
but everything is on plan for
Shovels in the ground, when?
next year.
Okay.
And then lastly, we are installing the exercise equipment we purchased last year at Lee Road, or at Community Park along the pathway and around the skating, or around the sledding hill. And again, we're doing that with in-house forces, so.
And we've had that purchased for a while, correct?
Yeah,
If you guys don't know that, I'm now calling it an all-purpose hill. We ran out there, like I said, last Saturday, and it was 6:30 in the morning, and there were 30 people.
There's always somebody there.
Yeah. So this is the exercise equipment, traditional stuff, core exercises and the like. So we all stay in bikini shape. So
Then lastly, Dustin Groves from Channel 13 today interviewed Casper and I'm sure he'll upstage me and get all the film time. I know.
we're gonna have to get him an agent or something. Okay, I'm gonna get you a haircut.
And again, as Casper mentioned, we do have the paint on order. The one's a website order, so I have to wait to
Okay.
get the purchase order and get the city credit card and get that ordered, but, yeah, it's,
All right. Anything else?
Yeah.
All right. We got a couple things under new business here, so maybe walk us through. First one here is Heartland request for cost exchange for rent amended rental application. Eric, what have we got here, sir?
I knew that was coming.
I'll let Michael and Bill
All righty.
walk you through it.
Thanks. I'm Michael All with Heartland Film, and we obviously have the Starrett Center, and we are almost done with everything inside. We just have a few more projects to do, but we're really on track to get everything done, hopefully by October 1st. With that, we have some external things that have we've noticed after being in there a good year. Last year, we did some of this kind of work where we did some work on the exterior windows and some of the woodwork. That's all been secured. But what we've noticed now is there's some woodwork around all of the windows that is just rotting. And Bill here is with Retro New Limited, and he's done most of the work.
Sorry, I'm a contractor.
His company's done most of the work on the internal, along with Wilhelm Construction, and he brought a piece of.
I brought a piece of the west arched window.
Oh, okay.
Just to give an example of what's been happening over the years. And so
Is it fair to say real quick, this is original wood?
this is not.
Ooh, okay.
If you can notice, it's a piece of wood with a piece of interior quarter wrap
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got to change glasses.
that at some point was done as a Band-Aid.
Right.
And it affects both arched windows on the east and west side, as well as the 16 columns in front of the building, and the 8 columns in
8
the back.
columns on the patio.
On the patio, where all the bases are rotting out. And so our proposal is to refabricate them to meet historic specs, as we did with all the window repairs that we did last December, where we actually custom milled the moldings to match the original building per historic landmarks requirements. We would do the same here. The only difference is, instead of making them out of wood, we would make them out of a product that's called rice wood, which is basically a byproduct of corn husks mixed with a resin. So it's a recycled material, but it sort of like a type of resin plastic, where it is insect resistant, so that it will last a lot longer than putting a traditional wood on a floor that's going to get a lot of snow and water and rain, which causes the damage.
And it's economical.
And then in addition to that, we're looking at, there's quite a bird problem.
Eric has been over to help me with that bird problem.
On the west porch, so the west patio porch covering is just the raw rafters. There is no ceiling. So on the front porch, we have the old beadboard ceiling. This is to the building, so we're proposing we add that. Even with putting up bird spikes, the birds seem to
Adjust.
the bird spikes to big builder nests, build bigger nests. We also have some mud hens that are putting up their little mud nests.
Oh, Toledo.
Yeah, we were doing some pre-work a couple weekends ago, and we were getting dive bombed by 5 of them that were trying to protect 3 babies in the nest. But that if we put a ceiling on, one, it makes the building more historically accurate to match the front of the building, but it also eliminates the constant bird doo-doo.
Yeah, fecal matter, yes. Real quick, going back to I'll call it for lack of a better word, the molding around the windows. What work has been done on those windows thus far?
They've done work on on the whole west side. Haven't done anything, have you done anything on the east?
Yeah, so on the west arch window last December, the top window, which is supposed to be a stationary window, the bottom is supposed to come up, but the top wasn't. Well, the top had fallen.
That's not good.
So we had that restored and put that back in place. In addition, the front of the building, which would be the southwest vestibule, the west picture window, which is not part of the historic building, at some point that vestibule was added. That whole window frame had rotted out, so we rebuilt that, as well as the one next to it, which is part of the original building. We also redid the trim around the kitchen entrance door on the northeast side. That had just been some stock stuff from Menards. We replicated the original historic moldings so it matches the other doors on the building.
Eric, would you explain to the board what an agreement like this would entail with our relationship with Heartland as far as monies we receive and work that they would do?
So the agreement is $5,000 per month with a $1,500 stipend towards the utilities. And those have ran anywhere from $800 to about $1,400 during the winter last year. So we're within that. So in essence, we're collecting about $3,500 each month.
Each month. I have any question here real quick? To make this work, my stance has always been on the inside improvement, that's on Heartland. And I think you guys know my stance. On the exterior, though I will get pushback, I'm used to it. That's a historic building. It's our building. It has to be maintained at historical levels. I fight hard not for us to step up on the exterior maintenance of this building, especially that's why I asked about the windows. What did y'all do to maintain the windows? Is there a way, and then in this case, have we got a contractor, being this department, estimate of this work?
I have it right here.
Yeah, well, I know we have here, but have we got a second one?
No, but I'll let you know, things that Bill's done, they do good work.
Oh, God, yes.
So it's hard the window was replaced in the vestibule that on the inside. We did that a couple years ago, Reese Contracting did. So we've done some work, but not to the degree that he did.
And I'm not sure who did this type of work.
And I don't know either.
Oh, God, I may not have even been hatched yet when that was done.
Yeah, the
I'm
goal
old.
is to prevent the kind of the quick fixes.
And for us, we just thought it would be easier to do an exchange for the rent agreement to go ahead and just take care of the estimate that you have, but the additional stuff that I think we've talked to Eric about too, that we could just all lump into one bid or estimate from.
And this estimate includes all the components that we upgrade.
There's one still we're missing.
The only thing that Eric and I just was there's some roofing issues from when they did the roof last year that Eric still.
He gave us a
worked with the roof.
partial quote, but hasn't given us a full quote.
And the issue with that is,
The soffit or the fascia board needs to be replaced, and then determining whether we need to put a gutter up or a longer drip strip or something.
we're looking somewhere in the neighborhood $10,000 range.
No, the
The soffit repair was $800.
Well, that's kind of what I thought,
And the
okay.
gutter-
Oh, just a gutter, not a roof, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the gutters.
Not the roof, I'm
$1,200.
sorry.
maybe.
I think it's similar, trying to fix similar issue that we had along the kitchen where we added the gutter. So before, when people would come in the back door, the flat roof rolled down on them and it was rotting out the building.
You got the thrill of a lifetime if it was melting snow or water
So
or
that was
whatever.
part of our work last year, kind of when we capped the chimneys so the birds would stop being inside the fireplaces during events, literally. But adding gutters on the side, so the two corners of the building where all the water rolls off are just rotting so that when it rains, the water is coming out of the flat underneath soffit, which should not happen. And since we're looking at repairing the columns back there, the hope is that we get the source of the water problem fixed
Okay.
before we do the repairs.
Questions? And like I said, we've discussed, the rental fee and everything. So in essence, we would be status quo for how long if we if we accept this and go forward with the work? What's that look like for our income and for how long?
How much was it, Michael?
We're looking at 4 months of rent. This was for 15,786 with the additional
depends on what
dollars
happens.
with what comes in with Eric. And if we just it's going to be less than 20,000 total,
I think
which would be
most,
4 months.
yeah, most of this is deferred maintenance.
Yeah.
That,
And how
so
was
that's kind of my goal personally, interior and exterior. I don't know if you've been to the interior yet, is really maintaining the historic nature of the building and bringing it back so that we're not doing quick fixes. And if you think about even the front columns, it's about $250 a column, which really is not a lot to have a custom millwork
right?
fabricate historically accurate bases for those columns.
And since we've been there now almost a year and a half, well, can you believe that? Being out on the front porch, if you just happen to kick one of those columns, you're going to kick the base of it off of there. They're that rotted. And that's why we're really looking at doing this. We'd like to get it done as soon as possible so we don't have to go through another winter with this.
I'm going to, not to belabor this, I'm going to wear my old Fort Harrison Reuse Authority hat. I know the hoops we jumped through to rehab the former PX building, and a current architect now occupies that. And if you ever have a chance, just go there and look at where it was 5 years ago with squatters. I think the Raccoons, it was a 5-star hotel for them. And then what the folks, the Marici folks are doing, rehabbing for adults with disabilities. They're going into their second phase, turning what's left over of those into condominiums, live-in condominiums. I said it may get pushed back, but I see this as a win-win as we continue to maintain our old facilities out here. Our goal was to get it used every day, to celebrate the culture out here at Fort Harrison. So I would entertain a motion to accept Heartland's request, exchange for rent amended rental application for continual exterior work.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Get building.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
So why don't we'll just look at,
Why don't we connect?
yeah, we'll look at 20,000 and see where.
That's kind of what I was looking at.
There, how's that?
If it's easier, just have them do all of it so you don't have to mess with it.
Well, that's why I'll probably just have you pay Charlie or whoever.
I think it's easier, so you don't have to have different, I don't know how you.
Well,
Spending.
Yeah, if you want to, I'll email you.
I like the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Simple man.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Next up, we are not going to act on this yet, but our friends at Lawrence Township Football League, Eric, what is their season has started, but what are the point-by-point agreement that LTFL, we got to get on them, insurance? Just walk us through.
primarily insurance and scheduling. Because we schedule other
Groups.
groups out there, or we'll have an event and we're not necessarily, we know who it is. We don't know if it's that group, if it's their group, or if it's somebody else. So first of all, we need a certificate of insurance
Right.
before anything. So we'll have to get that. And then as far as scheduling, we'll muddle through August, but we need something.
Out there right now, going into the fall, the Y's still out there, correct?
They are,
Our Gaelic friends out there,
yes.
Gaelic, the Y, and never know who else might be there.
Seen,
I've seen a couple,
playing soccer.
yeah, lacrosse. I've not seen organized teams, but folks show up with their lacrosse nets, pull them out of the back of their trucks.
What's the start date on football?
It never ends.
Well, that's my question.
Yeah, so I think we need to actually look at a 12-month contract for them, so we're covered primarily under the insurance.
Yeah, that would be my concern, yes.
The two-
I've seen them out.
The two high schools are the ones that are kind of the oversee it, but Leroy is the exact day-to-day operator. I chatted with Pat Mallory up at LN today. I go, Pat, we're going to get caught in a pinch here. There are other interests wanting to get a rec league going. That's neither here nor there. We might need to call a special meeting where, once we get this hammered out, and the key, like Eric said, we need a schedule, we need insurance, they need to make sure they have security. We have monies coming to us from their parking. They charge parking. I don't have a problem with charging parking. You heard me say it today, 99% of the people that play out there aren't Lawrence residents anyway.
It needs to be in the agreement.
Yes, well, that is, and we just got to hold their feet to the fire, and we had nothing submitted in the form of a payment from last season, did we?
No, we were paid in 22, but not in 23.
Okay.
I don't think anybody should be charging admission or parking.
No.
Without.
And I hate to say it, we need to get a little cut of that. I will take this on personally. I know the particulars real well. They will hear me tomorrow morning bright and early. And like I said, well, the terms don't need to change, just the dates and the like. Yeah. But they gotta adhere to those terms. So they'll hear from me tomorrow.
Scheduling, so the way the contract reads should permit other people
Correct.
to use it whenever
Right.
we decide, right?
We've got an agreement with YMCA and the Gaelic Association for certain dates, and they're on our schedule, but we don't know.
We don't know the football folks.
I sent everything to Leroy, but, so I
No,
assume
he'll get it from me.
or not.
I get my little Napoleon dander up, so occasionally I use it, but not often. All right, our last under new business, Eric, our first of the favorite
Change orders.
change order. Boy, I love that phrase. What are we changing?
So, we mentioned that since we have some extra funds in this project, in the Next Level Trail 3, which is the Lee Road project.
Right.
We're going to put a crosswalk in at 63rd and Lee Road to connect to the Fall Creek.
Oh, okay, because I remember I had that check, that was brought up last month, so.
So we just got some, United did the work. They're estimating about 20, well, again, change order, these are rough numbers, 26,800.
27,000.
And of course, Calumet might come back lower than that since they're already out there, but I just need approval to submit change order number 1
To,
to Calumet
okay.
and get a pricing on it.
And it is covered.
We have the funds, yeah.
Okay. And personally, you live, that's in your neck of the woods, it's Tom there. Boy, that's a lawyer's nightmare or dream if that's not put in there, depending on which side of the bumper you are when that car hits you out there. So I don't see how you can say we've got one there, you know, right as you turn to go north on Lee Road, we have that crosswalk. So,
Yeah, I don't think this is in our purview, but when you make that right turn onto Lee Road,
yes,
drops off a lot,
yes,
you know,
Yep.
off of 63rd.
sure does.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we did a little something about that too.
Maybe something for them to look at. That, well, I agree, Tom.
Yeah, that's,
You mean coming south on Lee Road or?
no, if you're on 63rd Street
Going east.
going west.
West, okay.
Okay, got it, yes, yes.
Turn onto Lee, make the turn to go north on Lee Road.
There you go.
It drops off, yeah, a lot.
Okay, okay.
Maybe something to look at, yeah. And they, you saw they're putting in a house there too. They're building, is that just gonna be a single house or 2 houses? So that's gonna be added traffic right there in that area.
Yeah, it's,
And they've got to put a sidewalk in on their side.
okay, good for them.
All right. I would entertain a motion to accept change order number 1 for an addition walkway at 63rd Lee Road.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Public, hopefully we didn't bore you.
We cleared them out pretty
We
much.
cleared them out in a hurry. With that being said, I'm going to see if my Orioles can score some runs tonight. Meeting adjourned.